Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Earthquake CS38 chainsaw. The work order stated that the customer wanted the spark plug, primer bulb, and fuel filter replaced. So that's what we're going to do. We might look at a couple other things along the way, but in the end, the work order says replace those parts, and my description of the work completed will say performed requested services. Obviously, if I find a problem that makes this terminal or something I know will cost a lot of money and whatever, I'll give them a call, you know. Let's see how this one goes. Took a look in the fuel tank and I couldn't get the filter out, all right? The hose was too short. I'm looking at the air filter and I'm noticing there's no gasket on there, and I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a gasket. So we will note that on the work order. I don't have a gasket that style in stock to just slap one on there anyway. We are going to change the spark plug out. You'll notice I use the air hose to blow around the base of the spark plug before it comes out. That's just so no schmutz ends up down in the cylinder. Speaking of the cylinder, let's see what kind of shape it's in. If this thing's scored, you know, no amount of primer bulbs is going to fix that, right? But it looks good. I'm not sure why he asked for just these specific services, but maybe that's all he couldn't handle. This is my favorite spark plug here, the L8R later. We'll get a new plug in there for him. I'm sure that's a job he could handle himself, but maybe he couldn't source the plug. I'm just blowing out a little bit here to take a look at the back of the primer bulb. And it looks like it's a standard style primer bulb. So what we're going to do is just pop it off its base, and hopefully there's enough fuel line there that we can work on it outside the saw here. Looks like there's just enough line. One of them might have even pulled off here. So I need a plug, a primer, and a fuel filter. We got those parts here. We'll throw that plug in right away. This is it's not a high dollar saw. If we would have found some scoring in here, we would probably just recommend that he runs it till it doesn't run anymore and then plan on buying another saw. We will clean this up a little bit, make it pretty for him. I got to work in here anyway. So what I want to do, you remember that I couldn't get the fuel filter out of the tank. Well, it looks like the fuel line where it passes through the tank, I might be able to just move that line a little bit. Let's get this fuel out of here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Ooh, it's pretty. It's red. I think that's true fuel. It almost looked like there was a little bit of debris in the funnel. So I was just tapping the sides to get it to settle to the bottom. And then I'll just tap off some of that debris. And then what's left is theoretically good fuel. Not much, but it's good practice. Looking inside the tank, it's not dirty or a big mess that needs to be flushed out. Now this fuel line, it's got a little bit of age on it, but it's not cracked or anything like that. And the impression I got from the work order was that we are to replace the parts he requested, and that's it. Which is fine as long as I don't see a safety hazard. I don't think this line's going to blow a hole in it and have a big fuel leak. You can see now that I pulled the line through the tank a little bit, I'm able to access that filter. And it was a good call on his part to replace it because it looks pretty brown. That line is struggling, it's fighting me a little bit. And it's not so much the condition of the line, it's how sharp the barbs are on that style of filter. You can see the difference in color between the old one and the new one. So we got it to lay down in the bottom of the tank. Now we got to pull the slack back out to where it was. We're just going to nip the end off of there, and there's kind of a memory on the end of that line. Maybe I should have left it because now I got to stretch it a little bit to get it on there. That looks pretty good. There we go. All right, no interference with the throttle linkage. Looks good. All right, now we got the primer bulb. Yeah, that one line came off already. You're going to have a long post and a short post. You got to put the new primer on the same way the old one came off. If they both come off and you're not sure which way they go, the long stem on the primer bulb is going to go to the return line to the fuel tank. And the short stem of the primer bulb is going to go to the hose that runs to the carburetor. We're just getting them pushed on the primer right now. You didn't really get a good shot of that, but I don't think you need a good shot of a dude pushing a fuel hose on a primer bulb. There we go. So we got our primer bulb, we got our spark plug, we got our fuel filter. Let's put his canned fuel back in here. And then we're going to try and start this thing. And if it starts and runs decent, we'll leave it. If it just needs a little bit of tweaking, well, maybe we'll do that too. But if it does run, then that's all I'm going to have for you on a quickie tune-up on a Earthquake CS38 chainsaw. Thanks for watching. Later.